Hello and welcome to South Bay Sports Radio. Here's your host, Nick Ingram.
I've got Coach Rory Schoonmaker, Segundo High School. Coach, Thursday night, Ocean League title is on the line against the defending league champion West Torrance Warriors. Second year with the program. What's been the key to the success of the program over the last 16, 18, 24 months?
I think realistically, the success of the program is all hinged on the players' belief and the community support that we've had around us. The school has done a great job really buying into the things we're trying to put in place while we continue to work on building the culture and the expectations of a football program here.
Your quarterback, Ryan Wysek, he's throwing the ball at an amazing clip, 25 touchdowns, no interceptions. What have you seen out of him, not only in practice, but on Fridays that have shown you that he's
Yeah, something we really try to preach is protecting our possessions, whether it be in special teams, whether it be with quarterbacks, running backs, trying to limit our turnovers and making sure we're putting ourselves in the best position to be successful. And Ryan's really embraced that. He watches the most film on the team. He goes through his progressions. If we have any questions about what we're going to do or, what our plan of attack is, Ryan is very, very thorough in terms of looking at those things and really hammering down what we want to make sure we emphasize on a week-to-week basis. He's thrown a couple of scary balls, I would say through the season. But that's going to happen, or it's going to happen with games. Sooner or later, he's probably going to throw an interception. And my biggest thing is how I want to see how he's going to react when he does do that. Because getting through an entire football season without throwing an interception is a pretty rare occurrence, in my opinion.
kind of like a undefeated season in the NFL or 80 goals in hockey. Kind of, doesn't happen too much.
Absolutely.
What we talked last week about the play of your defense and shutouts after shutouts, correct?
Yeah, no, they had a nice little run, or we've had a nice little run, I should say, because giving up 18 points to El Rancho, who's a pretty darn good team, has done pretty well. Our defense has had a good run through the season. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Turner, is putting in great game plans. We work through on our defensive practices, going through every scenario, every situation, making sure we identify our alignment tendencies as well as player tendencies as we kind of go through. And we have a couple unsung heroes in terms of the defense. I think our D line is playing phenomenal over the last 4 weeks in particular. Not only necessarily in the pass rush game, but being able to limit some of the run game opportunities that other teams have been getting. On the back end, Spencer Osborne, Sean Helms, the safeties have been doing great jobs getting our defense set. We currently don't have our starting middle linebacker, Isaiah Rodriguez. He's been out for a few weeks. Those guys stepping up and taking leadership for the defense, making sure guys are aligned the right way, and that they know their responsibilities and what they have to get done on a play-to-play basis has been awesome for us.
Who have been some of those unsung heroes on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, the offensive and defensive lines, they're not going to show up in the stat book as much as, we would like them to. But from an offensive perspective, Gio Blanco has been having a great year all season. Our center, Preston Greaser, does a great job making sure that our line schemes and run blocking is sewn up each play. Sammy Vicona has done a great job. I mean, I could really go down the list in terms of our offensive line and how well they've done, particularly in pass protection. We still need some work in the run game, but they know that. And, we're making adjustments based on a week-by-week basis based on who we're playing, what their strengths are, what their alignments are. From a defensive perspective, we've had a lot of rotation on the interior defensive line, trying to get some different guys in. Josh Islas has really stepped up in one of those roles, as well as Jeremy Hernandez has been playing great. But really, there's a ton of guys in terms of the defensive line and how we're rotating through Justin Castellanos. And they've all managed to put us in great position to be successful.
West Torrance, Thursday night. They've got some athletes on their team. What's going to be the key to winning an Ocean League title? And was that far-fetched when you came to this school and took the job?
I'm not sure it was far-fetched. I had confidence that we could do it as long as, we got the buy-in, we got the belief out of the community and out of the kids and the administration here at school. That has gone well. I'm fairly confident in my abilities as a coach. Building a staff the first year was tough. I was very thinly spread. We'll put it that way. As the program's progressed, it's gotten a lot better in terms of those dynamics. But I'll tell you this. Watching West on film, knowing Coach Butler and the way he schemes his teams, throw out records, throw out rankings. This is going to be a dogfight on Thursday night. We're completely planning on that, but it's going to come down to not only who puts their team in the best position to be successful as coaches, but the kids going out on the field and executing with efficiency. Whoever can do that better and whoever can protect the ball usually wins those tight rivalry games. You know what I mean?
All right, we're going to go a little bit off script right now. Coach, where are you from? Where did you go to school? And why did you want to get into coaching?
I grew up in Orange County. I'm from Huntington Beach. Played high school ball at Huntington High. Went to junior college, Santa Ana College, before getting an offer to extend my playing career at Graceland University in Iowa. I grew up around the game. My dad did some Pop Warner coaching. It was kind of all over the place. He was a police officer. He did what he could when he can. So I've always had the feeling that sooner or later I was going to end up contributing in some way or in the coaching game. And then, I got a phenomenal opportunity at Edison High School when I came back from college. Coach White at Edison offered me a position on staff. And that was really my first opportunity of getting to see what like a quality football program looks like on a day-to-day basis. The expectation, the support, all of those dynamics, the kids' work ethic. And those are kind of things that I've always tried to help instill at whatever programs I've gone to.
When you first started coaching to right now, if you could go back and say to yourself, hey, this is something that you need to completely abandon, what would it be and how have you grown since then?
I will tell you the notion. I think when you're a young coach, you kind of expect that, hey, everybody's going to do everything you want when you want them to do it. They're going to do things perfectly without any restriction or limitation. If I could go back in time and really something I developed a lot of when I was coaching at Santa Ana prior to coming over to El Segundo was a level of empathy and understanding for students. We're all in different situations. We all have different circumstances that we live through. But being able to emphasize and be able to understand the guys when, they have something going on, so they have to miss a practice, and how we're going to adjust, how we're going to make more time to make sure that you can put yourself in the best position to be successful on the field, whether that's with extra lifting, extra film, all of those aspects, and being able to provide that for those kids is always going to be something that I look back on. Like I said, I think most coaches are like, if you miss a practice, you're not going to play. And it's like, does that put your team in the best position to necessarily be successful? Are you cheating your other kids out of opportunities to be successful because said player isn't going to be in the game and he's the best person for the job? So we look for extra opportunities for those guys to put in work and get those guys out on the field and contributing, so that everyone knows they're putting in the same level of work, though it might not necessarily be at the same time. I think that is something that I definitely have learned over my time coaching. We're all unique as coaches, as players, as people. So being able to provide and put ourselves, again, in great position to be successful by whatever means necessary is always big.
There we go. Coach Rory Schoonmaker, El Segundo High School. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, no problem.